Thank you for joining us for another episode of Big Red Doors, the video teaching series here at St. Mark's on the Campus Episcopal Church. I'm here today with Ross Mosier, our new Minister of Music, or is that your title?
Minister of Music or Director of Music, whatever.
Director of Music. Ross has been here for about a month now, maybe about a month and a half, helping us with our services, helping to improve our music, and even our future plans with how we use music as an outreach here at our church. Ross, if you could give us a little background about you and music. What are you versed in? What got you tied into that? Why music?
I started playing piano when I was 7, and I've played ever since. I'm a piano major now, so it's kind of stuck with me. And then, growing up in the church and just listening to other recordings of church music and stuff, I got interested in the organ, and I started learning that in high school, and have gotten really involved with that. And so it's just kind of always been something it's what I do.
It's just what you do?
Yeah.
So, why music in the church, then?
I like liturgical music. I like, especially sacred choral music. I really like a lot, and the works on organ for mass settings and just all that stuff. It's always just been something that I really enjoyed and kind of is something that's a staple in my life.
Having grown up in a Pentecostal church myself, I can kind of get that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you felt it to play something special for you in your faith?
Yeah, I think it's interesting when composers write such prolific sacred music. That to me is showing some sort of affinity for the divine nature of God, and I think that's just in my mind, that's the utmost way to connect spiritually.
Is through music itself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've heard that said by both of our past organists and music directors here.
Mm-hmm.
But even with that being said, each of them have had a different vision, a different mission they've seen themselves called to through music in the church, and a different way they've sought to shape it here at St. Mark's. You've already taken some big steps for us in helping us to update our pianos, strides to help us update our media outreach methods, big plans in the works that will update in the future. But what is it you want to see happen here, and what are some of those plans?
I would really like to see us get a really robust music ministry system here with, a choral scholars program or something perhaps of the nature where we can have more student involvement, especially students from the School of Music just down the road, and really increase the music quality of our worship services, and especially for special worship services, around Easter and Christmas time, and be able to have a nice, robust choir that we can do some really awesome music, as well as being able to have a choir of students will increase the outreach program in my mind of having students coming here and have a little bit more interest in St. Mark's.
How is that, the greater interest part?
I think if students know that there's a choir of students singing here, especially if we're singing special works or whatever, it will draw in more students to come and sit and listen to our worship services. And so I think music is typically a big drawing force for people to come to church, I think. Most of the churches that have really big congregations and really devout congregations and diverse congregations typically have really, really good music. And so I think that's a great tool for us, as well as finding out different ways, maybe through music, that we can increase outreach to the student population and ways to serve the student population through music.
Okay. Now, we are by no means just liturgical music here.
Right.
But many churches are. Do you think that's a a hindrance to some churches' growth in this modern age?
I mean, it can be. I guess it just depends on how you do it and how you use it. You know, you also have to know your audience, you know, who's coming in or who you want to come in, and that is when you make the decisions on what type of music you'll be having. You know, and so I think it just depends on what the goals are for your congregation in mind.
Okay. What do you think would be the best route for our church? We have a congregation that is very open, very open-minded. They love the music that we've been doing. We've had our attendance actually growing over the last few weeks while we've had more going on.
Right.
So your point has been proven already, just in the last month and a half. But as we have COVID starting to go down in numbers hopefully soon, the new school year starting, and those connections built, where do you see our music ministry going and in what form?
Well, hopefully next fall we'll be able to start choir again. And I think we're at a really important crossroads time in the church, and most churches are, of people have been away for a decent amount of time, and even people who maybe had been away from the church prior to COVID are maybe wanting to reconnect, you know, and have that connection both spiritually and also just with other people. And so I think we're at a really important time where we can start evaluating what types of services, what types of music during the services we want, and if we want to do anything other besides just the worship services with music and stuff in general, to really reach out to people and try to form a more robust community.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sitting down with me for this, Ross. And thank you for tuning in for another episode of Big Red Doors. Next week we will be coming back with a focus on what is the church in the future and what is our mission. Thank you again.